Good morning, everyone.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Give it a hand. Yes, yes.
I hope I will meet your expectations this morning. My name is Mathijs Koper. I'm here as representative and one of the co-founders of World Startup Factory. And yeah, Paul already said what I'm going to tell you, but I will start with a quick introduction of myself. I'm here today for World Startup to present you World Startup Factory and tell you about the Dutch startup ecosystem. But I'm also involved and one of the co-founders of another company called Outside Inc. And that's the company in which we work on corporate entrepreneurship. And I think Peter Sage already said that cooperation is the new competition. And we see that also with collaboration between existing companies and startups. There's a lot of value into that. And that's actually where we are in. With one leg, we are in the startup world. And with the other one, we are in the corporate world. And we try to create as much value as possible out of that. I'm not sure what you know about the Netherlands. You already told me some of our secrets. But mainly, you probably know this kind of pictures of Amsterdam and the hedonistic things that happen there, or the windmills and the tulips, or this, the Peace Palace in The Hague. That's actually the city where I am from. But there's a lot more happening there, especially if you look on the entrepreneurial side and innovation. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the next 25 minutes. I will first touch the Dutch business ecosystem for startups. I will tell you about what we do and what you can learn from that and how you can maybe also apply for our programs. And I will finish with telling you my experience and also the experience of the startups we invested in landing and launching your new business in the Netherlands. But first of all, and I think, Paul, you already made an introduction for this, Holland is not really a dense country, actually. It's more like a spread out, widespread city. And you can see that the Netherlands is a bit like New York, but then like a country. And if you compare it to Poland, I think, and I hope I'm completely right, I think Poland is 8 times bigger, and there live half of the people, and the GDP is about 2 times higher in the Netherlands, but it's such a dense country with so many companies, universities, entrepreneurs, international talent, and that really makes sense if you look for a location to grow your new business. And within that small country, and it also refers to what Peter Sage was saying about cooperation, we have a lot of clusters around topics, and they are all united in what we call the startup delta. The flat country we live in is like a delta, but you have clusters around different topics. You probably know that in Eindhoven there's a lot of high tech, also a spin-off of the Philips company. In Rotterdam you have a lot related to logistics and ports and the oil and gas industry. In The Hague you have a lot on peace and security and humanity. And for example in Leiden you have a lot to do about bio, medical and e-health solutions. And the advantage of this is that you can cooperate with potential competitors, but if you are not really into a market or there's no market yet, you really can benefit from each other. And I also wanted to share why startups choose to be in the Netherlands. And for me as a Dutchman, it's quite logical to start there, but you see a lot of startups coming to the Netherlands to enter the Western European market. And I think the Netherlands is quite a strategic location. I will get to that point later as well. We have very high connectivity penetration. And the Europe's ecosystem is next door. In some way they say that the Netherlands is an economic province of Germany, but it's quite easy to go to other countries if you are already established in the Netherlands. And I got all kind of questions last night about what's your unfair advantage? Why should any startup go to the Netherlands? Now here are 3 reasons, and I will get to my more personal experiences and what we do with our company later. But I think the main reason is that everything is really close by, and there's a really open culture. And there are already a lot of startups that are grown-ups already. There are large companies like Crucell, who is a pharmaceutical company that is founded already 15 years ago or something. But there are also big internet platforms like Booking.com or WeTransfer or Agent, the mobile payment provider. They all conquer the world from the Netherlands. And yeah, what I already said, there are a lot of universities, a lot of incubators, and a lot of private initiatives as well. So combining these strengths makes the Netherlands quite a good country to grow your business if you already are successful in Poland, for example. And these were the general slides, and I want to use some examples from my own experience to make it more practical. What we see, and that first 2 points I can maybe combine a bit, because a lot of the sessions here were about investment, at least the ones I joined, and we truly believe at World Startup Factory that the best money still comes from customers. So access to market, that's what it's all about. And in the Netherlands, you have a huge group of people that are tech savvy, are into adopt new services, and that are willing to pay for that, even if you are in an early stage. And there are a lot of traditional corporations, and maybe it's their challenge to be a bit behind with their innovation, but with the current hype, or it's a bit of hype in the Netherlands, I think, about startups, you can easily work together with them and get access to large groups of customers. And we, for example, work together with KPN, which is one of the largest telecom companies in the Netherlands. And almost everybody in the Netherlands, the 70 million people, has a subscription or is a customer of them. So if you have a new IoT service, for example, you can easily go to that market with in a partnership with them. And another one, and we benefit from that ourselves as well, is that there is a lot of talent, not only people from the Netherlands, but there are also a lot of students coming in to our universities, for example, to the TU Delft or the Erasmus University, that want to stay there, want to do an internship, and they all have an international background and can add a lot of value in your company, especially in the early stage. And then, of course, there's the fiscal climate. If you are working on technical innovation, there's a lot possible to make it interesting to invest, not only for you as a company, but also for investors. And the last point is that we have quite an open and international culture. I think we now work with a group of 10 people in our current program, of 10 companies with 20 entrepreneurs, and it's quite easy for them to, to integrate into society and see, to find their own ways. And also in most corporations, the business language is even English. So that's what's about the Dutch business ecosystem. And I'm going to dive more into what I do, because I'm here presenting, but actually I'm more the doer myself. I'm one of the co-founders of World Startup Factory. And usually we just help companies with getting that new customers, getting the right story for investors, enabling the team to get the most out of themselves. And first of all, I wanted to start with what is a startup accelerator, because we experience that there's a lot of noise around what the definition of a startup accelerator is. What we, as World Startup Factory, actually do is a very small thing. We do offer office space, but we don't have a big campus or something. We are at the campus. But what we really do, that's our niche, is that we scout the most promising teams with a passion for a problem and a potential solution. And we invite them to come to the Netherlands. We invest in them and offer them a program. And we be a shareholder for, let's say, 5 to 7 years. So we're in it for the long term and want to really make the people successful within the company. And of course, we need a return. That's what we are about. And maybe you've seen that our payoff is saying something about impact. And there are a lot of startups that have a passion, for example, faster pizza delivery, but that's not what we are interested in. We try to focus on teams that have a passion for a real problem, a challenge, something that matters to our society, because our experience and our belief is that no business can succeed in a failing society, and that most successful business can contribute to a gap or a failure in society. And we use the Sustainable Development Goals from the UN to kind of focus that goals. And I want to give a short example from our portfolio. This is a picture of a sustainable or energy generating dance floor from the company Energy Floors, which is part of our portfolio and our family. And they are contributing directly to one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, number 7 and number 11. And I think it not only makes matter for themselves, but it also helps them to attract people because they are meaningful with what they do. So we look for people that have not only a passion for a solution, but really are in their startup for solving a real problem. And now I wanted to go a little bit more deeper into what we do. We are currently preparing the scouting and applications for our connectivity accelerator. The applications will open in July, so if you're interested, I will introduce the team later on. We'd love to connect to you. But we are focusing on smart products to product systems. And of course, we love bikes in the Netherlands, but it's not only about bikes. That is just an example. But you see a lot of products that become smart, are connected, and can add extra value, or startups like probably you are working on can add extra added value services. And that's the area we are interested in. And the stage we are looking for, because we're looking in kind of the pre-seed stage for startups, is that we look for people that really are a team, that they have established a company already, or the legal entity, and they have a prototype, or at least a paying customer, or somebody who's a launching customer who develops the solution together. And especially in the Netherlands now, you see a lot of opportunity for smart building and smart city solutions. So that's why we are most interested in. And if you're thinking about bringing your startup from Poland to Western European, I think that are also two topics with a lot of traction. And this is actually as an example of our program we finished last month. We invested in 9 or 10 startups above. There are still 9 thriving. Yeah, it's also kind of a not everyone succeeds, and they are still. Now maybe it's good to say something about it. We started with 10 promising startups, and one of them discovers that they were not ready yet for the program because they were in a too early stage. And we had quite some conversations with them and decided to skip them from the program, but invite them for the next program because they probably then are more ready for it. And what we do is we try to enable a whole ecosystem of existing partners. And that's also where the real value is, because of course we and myself are a group of experienced entrepreneurs, and we have a lot of investors close by, and we invested ourselves. But most of the value comes from the people that are our partners. And that are partners with technology, for example, like Huawei, but also legal expertise or expertise on patents. And a lot of that expertise is available at no cost, at least during the program. And what we try to do, and I think the Warsaw campus is also a great example of that, is we try to build an ecosystem around what we do. And we have this situation in the Netherlands. There was quite a lot available, although we experienced that there were still some missing elements. And I think funding is, especially for the later stages, is even in the Netherlands quite a challenge. But if you look to the East ecosystem right now, you have a lot of demand, the customers. The government is very willing to facilitate your new startup and your new business, also with immigration and that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people that want to be more entrepreneurial. In the Netherlands, it's not that hip anymore to work at a corporate. So maybe if you work at Heineken, it's okay, but working at a bank or at an oil and gas company, that's not the one people want anymore. And that's an opportunity. And of course, we have great infrastructure. And we try to connect all these things. And what we see is that being a startup accelerator is not only about creating value for the startups, but all involved partners are getting a lot of value in other ways, because we see a lot of cooperations between the partners next to what we actually do. And that's actually what makes sense, because they pay our program, and they, of course, also share their expertise. And let's give an example. A lot of our startups have to do with privacy issues, because what can they do with the data, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And if you come from Pakistan, like Xgear, the privacy and data legislations are a bit different than in the Netherlands. But we are lucky to have KPN on board with a lot of expertise on this field, and startups can really benefit from that without paying. So, yeah, I wanted to touch a little bit more on this selection, because there are a lot of startups, a lot of them will not succeed, and a lot of them will, at least we hope. And what we look for, and what we try to look for, and it's also good to look in that way to your own startup, is do you have the right people on the bus? We work for a very big part on the team, because, most startups have fancy names and fancy logos. You can see it here. But especially in the States we are focusing on, the startups are nothing more than just a couple of guys. Unfortunately, we love more girls in that area, but most of them are guys. And they thought about a nice name, they made a logo, and they say, hey, we are a company. But investing in that people and their personal growth is directly connected to the growth of the company and the business success. So we really try to use that opportunity. So what we look for is for really great teams that are complementary. So it's also a signal if you have nice drinks and your co-founders could be friends. It's good if you are sometimes maybe look to things from a different perspective. And combining that with the purpose, the right stage, and also the right capabilities, and sometimes some complementary assets that are not really available for others, that really makes sense for us. This is actually an overview of how we work. We spend quite a lot of time on the scouting stage, because using an application form and reviewing business plans from behind your desk is not really a good KPI for the quality of a team. So building relationships, that is what it's all about. So even the startups that are not accepted for our program, we try to help them, because probably the next time they will recommend a friend who will meet our criteria. So it's really about co-creation and creating shared value. And I already said that learning and development, the personal growth of the startup founders, is maybe even more important in the early stage than the tangible results. Because if you have a good team on board, you can, I think, especially in the Netherlands, come very far and also pivot a lot towards the right solution. And finally, and that's the stage which is sometimes longer than, for every startup a different period, is the getting the right money on board, because we try to focus on customers, and a lot of startups, sometimes don't need funding because they bootstrap and get to launch a customer and get in that way to the next stage. But we also see a lot of startups that need funding to get to that next point. And we help them with that. And most of the investors that are involved in our program, and I think it can also work in that way here in Warsaw, is that our program is used by investors as kind of a due diligence, because they see the teams in the selection stage, they see them perform during the acceleration stage, and by the end of that, they have quite a good feeling about what they have, what qualities they have. And in the end, and that's what it's about, is that we try to create the startups that are not only good in the Netherlands, but use the Netherlands as a launchpad to get to other countries. Now, I already told a bit about this, and our program works on 2 tracks. One is the more academy-like approach, where we invest in the teams. The other side is more focused on the tangible results, and investment, and the customers. And a very important part is the mentorship. And what we experience in our programs, but also in earlier experiences, is that having a real committed journey mentor makes really sense for growing your business. You can see it in some way like an extra co-founder on a short distance or on arm's length. So every startup in our program has a journey mentor that really is someone who you can call late at night in tears or with a challenge, or who can really help you. They're not the investor because they are probably in a different role, but they sometimes are interested in investing in you in the later stage. And we have a great pool of experts, and that's something, that's really valuable, especially when you are bootstrapping. That was actually my introduction to what we do at World Startup Factory. And if you want to know more about that, we love to tell you about what we are up to. We are currently looking for connectivity-related startups, but we are preparing to launch a program on cybersecurity in autumn. And together with the World Wildlife Foundation, we are also exploring a program that is focusing on biodiversity. So we look for tech startups that solve a biodiversity problem. It's a nice niche, but there's a lot of traction in that part, not only here in Western Europe, but also in Latin America and in Asia, to create more restorative companies. And I wanted to end up with some experiences about landing and launching your startup in the Netherlands, because it can be quite a challenge as a foreigner to set up your business, and don't lose too much time in arranging stuff. And in this part, I made some assumptions, because these are the things I thought were nice to tell, but if you have anything else, then I would love to talk about that part. So is there anything who wants to know something specific about getting started in the Netherlands? Then I will at least tell you what I thought about. Most of the startups, especially when they want to be investment ready, need to establish a legal entity. Our experience is that investors not too often like to invest in entities from outside Europe. I've not experienced Poland, but we have one Romanian startup, and most investors prefer them to have a legal entity in the Netherlands. And the advantage is that you also have the fiscal advantages with that. There are quite some solutions for getting a startup visa. That's actually introduced by the Startup Delta program. So it's easy when you have a non-EU co-founder to stay in the Netherlands for at least 3 years to try to launch your startup. Housing and living is quite easy in the Netherlands. It's not that expensive in London, but if you go to Amsterdam, the rent is much higher than in Rotterdam, but it's, in our experience, acceptable also from startups from abroad. And if you compare it to other countries, the bureaucracy is not that much. So if you want to open a bank account or go to a notary for establishing your company, it can go quite fast. And I already said that talent is, I think, really an advantage. There are a lot of people that are willing to work for you. If you're not funded yet, they are most of the times also willing to work for you for a couple of months for free. And there are a lot of good interns available. And good interns often become good employees. And we see that there's a lot of seed capital available. So especially when you are in your seed stage or running towards a Series A, there are quite some opportunities. But it really helps if you connect to a program like us, but there are also others like Startup Bootcamp or Rockstart that can really fast-track your development. And this is kind of my conclusion. I really like Warsaw, but we also really like growing startups in the Netherlands. So if you're interested to know more, I can invite you to come to me, but my colleagues Aditya and Roel, who are sitting over here, are here as well. They're part of our program team, and yeah, interesting to talk to any startup that is interested. Not only for applying to the program, but also if you want to have good connections in the Netherlands. And yeah, we hope to see you today, and I hope this was valuable for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh.
Since we have a little bit of time, do you want to take a question or two if the people are ready to ask you a question?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to ask a question to the gentleman on my right? Oh, come on. Today you really are tough on me, right? Oh, there's a question at the very back, the gentleman over there. Thank you, because if one starts, usually then it goes viral. Please just state your name before. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, my name is Mathijs. Just a question regarding, because like the problem of the European Union right now, and especially the east of part of it, there's like air pollution and stuff, and Netherlands is investing quite a lot in that, and it doesn't really have problems with that anymore. Would you give an advice or like a possibility for Polish startups from the air quality, air pollution management to come to you and learn from you, or is it your profile of advisory as well, or a profile of investment, or not really?
I don't really have your question. Can you repeat your question?
So the question is, are you also working with startups from the air pollution / air reduction?
Clean tech.
Clean tech, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we're now focusing on connectivity, but I think there are opportunities also in the Netherlands for clean tech related startups. But yeah, I think your question was also about a situation that's different in Western Europe than here, is it? Yeah. If you, for example, are on air quality, because that's something that's in the crossover between clean tech and what we are in with smart city solutions, I think there are huge opportunities in the Netherlands, but probably also here. We see that although the slides are saying that the quality of life is very good, we still have some pollution problems in cities. So if you have a solution for a problem that occurs in the Netherlands or in Western Europe, then it's a good idea. But yeah, we believe in startups that are able to have a validated solution in their own country and then move to the Netherlands. That's actually the way we work. Yeah. Other questions?
He does my job better than I do, actually.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. I actually enjoy that. Anyone else? I mean, we have time. Otherwise, I'll have to send you again on a coffee break because the next panel is not entirely ready. Yes? No? Ah, come on. Okay, well, there you go. Are you going to stick around a little bit
Yeah,
today?
we are here for the whole day. And
so,
yeah.
you can see Matthias directly if you have questions, because again, you know you're shy and you just don't want to talk one-to-one, so he'll be available to answer your questions directly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Matthias, for your time.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.